And welcome back into the Trevecca Sports Network. I'm Lucas Panzica, talking today to a Trevecca head coach heading into year 2 at the helm of the volleyball program. It is Emily Moore. Coach Moore, happy Thursday. How you doing?
Thanks. I'm doing well. How are you today?
I'm good. No complaints from me. And let's dive in, Coach, as you and your team over the last few weeks have been able to get back to some type of action. I know it's been a big relief for you and other coaches here at Trevecca, but I've seen them take the floor here for a few reps in recent weeks. How good has it been to have something tangible to work on with your girls?
It's awesome. Just getting back on the court and being able to connect in person has probably been the best thing about it. Take the volleyball out, just being able to interact without looking at each other through a computer screen has really made all the difference in morale and just that wanting to get back to a sense of normal here on campus. And then obviously adding the volleyball to that, getting to play the game that we love, me getting to coach these young ladies, it's awesome.
What's impressed you about the way your girls have responded to everything that's been thrown at them in the last few months?
I tell them all the time just how proud I am of them, how they're handling this adversity, how they continue to have a positive attitude. They work really hard to control the controllables, and when so much is out of our control right now, it can be really daunting to keep just pushing forward and keep trying to maintain that positivity and support one another and stay motivated. But they've done a really good job of reaching out, of doing the things that I asked them to do, even from afar coming into this season. And I think that they're ready to go as soon as we have the green light to, proceed with the season. I know that they're going to be ready.
As the head coach of a college volleyball program, you already had a tough challenge in front of you in terms of dealing with everything in this year of 2020, but you've also been tabbed to help lead the university response to COVID-19, especially from a communication standpoint. So when you made that jump from coaching high school volleyball to college, first as an assistant, then as a head coach, I'm sure you probably knew it was going to be a challenge, but probably never estimated it would be something like this. How do you detail what you've been having to put up with for the last few weeks or so?
Yeah, I know that this is tough on every head coach, really at every level across the country, but it's tough on the professors at universities. It's tough on administrators. It's tough on faculty and staff. It's tough on the parents and the students. And there is a need at my university for someone to help out with communications as we are working through trying to bring our students back safely and maintain a safe environment and community for our students and our student athletes and our faculty and staff. And I was able to fill a role to help keep us here in person, and whatever I can do to make it possible for my student athletes and the other students here at Trevecca to have this experience this year, I'm willing to do that. So it's a balancing act right now, my coaching responsibilities as well as my responsibilities for managing a COVID communication team on campus. But I'd rather be busy and have goals to work towards than sitting around wondering and waiting what's next.
And I know those efforts are very much appreciated in the Trevecca community, not just with athletics and the volleyball program, but as a university in general. And you mentioned the balancing act. Those first couple weeks when you are kind of performing that act, what was it like to try and adjust and organize yourself to be able to deal with both fronts?
It's tough because everything is so fluid right now. We work through issues, they happen, and we try to be proactive rather than simply being reactive all the time, but you just never know. We've never dealt with anything like this before in higher education and in athletics. So the same with the volleyball season. I have plans, I have an idea of what I want to accomplish with the team over the next couple of weeks, season long, etc. And then a wrench gets thrown in the plan and you have to go back to the drawing board. It's just part of it. We have to be flexible. We have to be willing to adapt. we have to be willing to let go of those things that we just cannot control. And that's, as a coach, one of the most frustrating things, is I always want to be in control. So the same thing with both responsibilities right now, with coaching and with helping out the university on a communications level, is just being willing to adjust as things change, and they change on a daily basis, and that's just the way we're operating right now.
Well, let's get back to the volleyball court. And last season, you finished 16-17, a winning record in conference. That accomplishment of 16 wins is tied for second most in Trevecca history by a coach in their first full season at the helm. How does that foundation that you laid down last season translate to what this team's goals might be going into this upcoming season?
Really proud of the work we did last year. We had a young team. We graduated one senior, Mary Holmberg, and had freshmen and sophomores doing the rest of the work around Mary. So not only was it awesome to just have that success early on in my career here at Trevecca, but also to know that we're bringing back but one starter from last season, and we're going to continue to build on what we did last year. It also takes a little bit of the sting out of the craziness of this season, knowing that I don't have any seniors on the roster. Obviously, I want these new players and my returners, to have a great experience and to get to play this season, but don't have that heartbreak right now for a senior class who potentially doesn't get that final run at a championship.
Yeah, no seniors in this year's roster. So does that kind of give you a sense of security, almost, like you're saying, that you don't have to worry about that heartbreak of this ruining somebody's last season?
Yes and no. I mean, I want it so bad for these young ladies to have a season and to continue to compete the way we finished last season. We were really trending in the right direction, and I have a big junior class currently. There's 8 of them in this class, and that class is really responsible for creating the culture that we hope to continue and build on. And so this year, while we knew we would be good and we would continue to get better, it was going to be that year where we really poised ourselves for their senior year to be at the top, to be battling for that first place position. I hope that we get to do that in the spring. I hope we get to compete within our conference so that we can continue to build on what we laid as a foundation last year. But yeah, I think that the future is really bright for this team, and I'm excited for us to get back into a routine so we can continue, to reach the goals that we set for ourselves.
Well, in times like these, you have to look to players and depend on players probably more than ever. And with no seniors, where have you looked to and found leadership in your girls?
We have 3 captains on the team this year, junior class, Madison Martin, Chloe McDaniel, Lydia Yance. And if there is a silver lining to what happened in the spring and through the summer in terms of our school going remote and athletics kind of being put on halt, the captains and our coaching staff got to spend a lot of time together, virtually, but together, working through leadership studies, getting to know each other, setting goals for the team, talking about how best to mentor young players as they come in. And probably more than ever before in my coaching career have I felt so confident in the leadership of these captains on our team, knowing that they're prepared to echo the goals that the coaching staff has set for the team. I think they're bought in, and I can't wait for them to have an opportunity to lead on the volleyball court the way that I have watched them kind of take the lead this summer with their teammates, and even here on campus, and helping their team navigate this just very unusual time.
Well, you also bring back some talent in GMAC Freshman of the Year, Ellie Buffler, first team selection in the conference, Austin Baldwin, just to name 2. What else gets you excited about the personnel you're going to have in what seems to be a spring season coming up in a few months.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, the fact that we're returning all of our starters except for our graduating senior last year is exciting. I know that prior to our shutdown, our returners were putting in a lot of hard work in the weight room and on the volleyball court. I know that we're going to have some folks step up this year, have their opportunity to see some playing time. And I'm really excited about the freshman class that we've brought in. 5 talented young ladies, very athletic, very driven. I think they're going to push the returners, and I can't wait to get to see them all work together and figure out their identity for this year.
Can't wait to see them get out on the floor. Coach Moore, thank you so much for doing this. Again, your efforts are very much appreciated within athletics and the university as a whole, and hope you can get back to it soon with your team.
Thanks, Lucas.